Most people think they already know North America, the United States, Canada, Mexico, and that's it, right? Well, not exactly. Because this continent is far more complex than most maps ever tell us. It's a place of extremes. Frozen tundra and tropical rainforests, deserts below sea level, and snow that once fell in the Caribbean. So today, we'll explore North America as you've probably never seen it, one fascinating fact at a time. When people think of North America, they usually stop at three countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But according to the official definition by the United Nations, North America isn't just the big landmass up north. It also includes Central America and the Caribbean. That means in total, this continent is home to 23 countries. 3 in North America proper, 7 in Central America, and 13 scattered across the Caribbean Sea. Long before that, around 15,000 years ago, the first humans had already arrived. Most scientists believe they came from Siberia, crossing into Alaska when the two continents were still connected by land. That icy bridge, called Beringia, existed during the last ice age, when sea levels were much lower than today. Over time, these early settlers spread southward, through forests, mountains, and deserts, forming hundreds of distinct cultures and nations long before Columbus ever set sail. North America is like a miniature version of Earth. You'll find tundra in the Arctic, rainforests in Central America, grasslands across the Great Plains, and deserts stretching through Mexico and the U.S. Southwest. Few continents pack so much variety into one landmass. Frozen polar bears and tropical toucans, all sharing the same continent. If you ever visit Canada, there's a good chance you're standing near a lake, because the country has more than half of all the natural lakes on Earth. Almost 10% of Canada's total area is covered by water. That's millions of lakes, big, small, and everything in between. So many that many of them don't even have official names. In short, if you tried to visit a new Canadian lake every day, it would take you thousands of years just to finish the list. Just 5 lakes, Superior, Huron, Michigan, Erie, and Ontario, together form the largest freshwater system on Earth. They hold about 21% of the world's surface freshwater, enough to cover all of Europe under more than 2 meters of water. Lake Superior alone is so vast that it could cover both North and South America with a layer of water 1 foot deep. No wonder they're called the inland seas. They're practically oceans pretending to be lakes. North America is a land of dramatic extremes. Take Death Valley in California. It's the lowest point on the continent, sitting 86 meters below sea level, and also one of the hottest places on Earth. But just 135 kilometers away stands Mount Whitney, the highest point in the contiguous United States, at 4,421 meters above sea level. And if you go even farther north, you'll find Denali in Alaska, rising 6,190 meters, the tallest mountain in all of North America. So within one continent, you can go from scorching desert to snow-capped peaks without ever leaving the same country. North America holds 2 border records, one for size and one for brevity. The US-Canada border stretches 8,891 kilometers, making it the longest undefended border in the world. Every day, thousands of people and goods cross it peacefully. No walls, no fences, just customs posts and plenty of snow. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the continent, the US-Russia maritime border near the Diomede Islands is only a few kilometers wide. On clear days, you can literally see Russia from Alaska, but crossing that short distance is completely off-limits. It may be ruled by Denmark, but Greenland is actually part of North America, geologically speaking. The island sits on the North American tectonic plate, not the European one. So while it's politically tied to Europe, its rocks, mountains, and ice belong firmly to this side of the Atlantic. When people think of Yellowstone, they picture geysers, hot springs, and wandering bison. But it's also where the idea of a national park was born. In 1872, President Ulysses S. Grant signed a law making Yellowstone the first national park in the world. That single decision inspired countries everywhere to start protecting their natural wonders for future generations. Few landscapes on Earth are as instantly recognizable as the Grand Canyon. Carved by the Colorado River over millions of years, this colossal canyon stretches 446 kilometers long and plunges nearly 1.6 kilometers deep. It's so vast that the opposite rim can vanish into the haze, and the temperature at the bottom can be 15 degrees hotter than at the top. And it is recognized as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. The Mississippi River flows 3,766 kilometers from Minnesota all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. It drains water from 31 U.S. states, carrying it through farmlands, cities, and wetlands along the way. It's the 4th longest river in the world, and the longest in North America. For centuries, it's been a trade route, a food source, and an inspiration for culture and music, Native American legends, and the tales of Mark Twain's Huck Finn. When you hear Panama, you probably think of the Panama Canal, that narrow waterway linking 2 great oceans. But there's another place in the country where you can witness something even more spectacular. At the summit of Volcan Baru, Panama's highest mountain, you can actually see both the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans with your own eyes. It's a rare sight that only happens on clear, cloudless mornings, when the light hits just right and both horizons appear at once. The Caribbean might look small on a map, but it's actually made up of more than 7,000 islands, islets, and keys. Here's the surprising part. Fewer than 150 of them have people living on them. The rest are uninhabited, covered in forests, coral reefs, or just a single stretch of white sand and palm trees. A few Caribbean islands are shared by 2 different countries, like Hispaniola, divided between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Or Saint Martin, where the northern side belongs to France and the southern side to the Netherlands. Even Tobago was once nearly split between rival colonial powers. Small islands, big politics. Off the coast of Belize, there's a perfectly circular patch of deep blue that looks like something straight out of science fiction. It's called the Great Blue Hole. A massive underwater sinkhole more than 300 meters wide and 125 meters deep. Formed thousands of years ago when sea levels were lower, it's now one of the most famous dive sites in the world. Cuba, tropical beaches, palm trees, and snow? It sounds impossible, but it really happened. In 1857, the island recorded its first and only snowfall in Guantanamo Province, near the island's eastern mountains. The event was so unusual that local newspapers described it as white rain. It never happened again, making it one of the rarest weather events in the Caribbean's history. Hurricanes are usually linked with tropical beaches and palm trees, but they can travel much farther than most people think. Every few decades, powerful Atlantic storms push their way all the way up to Canada's Atlantic provinces, bringing heavy rain and hurricane-force winds to Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Even that far north, the ocean is still warm enough to feed these massive storms for a while longer. Before cities like New York or Mexico City ever existed, there was Cholula, a city that's been continuously inhabited for over 2,000 years. Archaeologists trace its origins back to around the 2nd century BCE, making it the oldest living city in all of North America. Legend says it was founded by Toltec refugees, while others believe its people descended from early Aztec tribes. At its heart stands the Great Pyramid of Cholula, the largest pyramid in the world by volume. So big, it looks like a hill covered in grass and churches. If the entire population of Earth lived with the same population density as New York City, we could all fit inside the state of Texas. Whew. That's more than 8 billion people, living shoulder to shoulder, surrounded by endless highways and barbecue joints. Of course, no one's suggesting we try it, but it does show just how vast the world really is, and how much space most of us actually have. Everyone assumes that English is the official language of the United States, but here's the twist: it isn't. The federal government has never declared any official language. English is simply the most widely spoken, used in schools, courts, and government offices, but there's no law saying it has to be. In fact, some states have tried to make English official on their own, while others recognize Spanish, Hawaiian, or Native American languages as well. So that's North America, a continent far more diverse, extreme, and surprising than most people realize. If you enjoy discovering these facts, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. There's a whole world out there waiting to be explored.